Well, good Monday evening, everyone. Hammer here with you alongside Tiffany. Tiffany, it has been a couple weeks due to circumstances beyond our control, but we are back. Welcome back. It's glad to see you. No worse for the wear, considering what you've been through in the last week or so. So glad to have you back, and glad that everybody's okay. So
yes, well, I'm very grateful to be here, and I mean that in multiple ways.
Yes. Us as well. Everyone out there is as well. So very good. So we played a little baseball since the last time we were able to sit down and talk. Yeah. But it looks like our bats have started to find some life, and looks like our pitching staff is starting to settle in a little bit. We did have a little hiccup there on Friday. Unusual, probably one off from Coons, but otherwise it's been a pretty good run. Just want to real quick recap the SEC games from this weekend, because anytime I get to take a jab at Peabody and Florida, I'm a gunna. So Ole Miss won 2 of 3 against Kentucky. Oklahoma took 2 of 3 from LSU, and man, you talk about preseason expectation versus realistic performance. It does not look good in Baton Rouge.
It is a championship hangover for sure.
Boy, I tell you. And granted, I understand, because we kind of felt that pain when the majority of our roster went on to bigger and better things in professional ranks, but still, to come in with that kind of expectation and to have this type of performance has got to be very disappointing for Tiger Nation, and we love it. Texas took 2 of 3 from Auburn. Georgia got A&M 2 out of 3. Arkansas 2 out of 3 versus South Carolina. And then my favorite things to report outside of Tennessee winning the series against Mizzou, Mississippi State sweeps Peabody. I tried to get the, hey, coach, how many games did you lose this weekend meme out there, but I just didn't have time today. I'll try to get that later. And in the battle of please, Lord, let there be a meteor, Alabama sweeps the Gators. And that's one that I don't think anybody was expecting. What is going on with these? Georgia and Texas right now are the only teams in the SEC that look like they are playing up to what we thought we were going to see coming into the beginning of the season, certainly their preseason rankings. Tiffany, what is going on in Baton Rouge, Nashville, and that dump in Gainesville?
I don't know. I think it's also worth mentioning, while Arkansas did take this series, they did drop a game to South Carolina. So that's also, I think, South Carolina fires their coach, and then Arkansas drops a game.
Yeah, that we talk about it in basketball and on the Border Rivals podcast quite a bit, is that coach bump when, a coach gets fired and the team rallies, and, but Arkansas shouldn't be losing to South Carolina ever in baseball. I didn't throw too much dirt at them for that, though, because we did drop a game to Mizzou, and we dropped it with arguably our best pitcher in Tegan Coons, who only was able to survive 3 innings. Did strike out 5 in those 3 innings, but unfortunately chalked up a few runs, and we just could not recover. But then got it together in a close game on Saturday, and then Sunday really just slammed the door. It was an outstanding performance Mojo calls him apple cider, and I'm having trouble getting off that now. Thanks, Mojo. Appreciate that. Quite frankly, I actually love it. I think it's hilarious. Let me get on the game here.
Yeah, Appenzeller was good. He just came in with ice in his veins, bases fully loaded.
Yeah, bases loaded, and just he wasn't having it. So he pitched 4 2/3, did not give up a run, and struck out 7.
Yeah.
So I know his role is probably, middle late relief, but man, I tell you, he keeps pitching like this. I think we might have a fourth starter we could throw at somebody if we need to come postseason time, because that kid was flat dealing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Evan Blanco comes in on Sunday and puts a gem out there. 7 2/3, only gives up 1 run, struck out 5. And our sticks kind of found some life. So I've spit all this stuff out, but nobody cares about what I've got to say about this. Tiffany, it's been 2 weeks. I'm jonesing for some spreadsheet love. So where do we stand collectively, maybe compared to where we were last year? What jumps out to you as improvement? What are some areas maybe we need to be a little concerned with? Lay it on us. Tell us what we need to know.
Yeah. So, we're at 38 home runs so far, which is fairly significantly behind last year. But what I do like, last year, this time we had 59 home runs. So, we're about 21 down on last year. But what I do like is, Tony didn't steal a lot. And I like that he is switching it up. First inning yesterday, Brown stole home.
Right.
Which I just love seeing. There's more stolen bases this year. Currently leading stolen bases is Abernathy and Ford with 3. Chapman with 4, and then Abernathy and Ford with 3 apiece. Brown and Marin with 2 apiece, and then Antigua, Grimmer, and Lawless each with 1. So we're at 17 stolen bases on the year. We've had 6 guys thrown out and 3 picked off in additional attempts. So, I like that we're doing that more this year.
Yeah.
I
one thing we've really never been as aggressive on the base paths, and I think there's been opportunities where we haven't taken advantage of that. So it is good to see. And it's also good to see throwing a runner out on base from time to time too. That's been pleasant. So
yeah, we have had 5 thrown out so far and 5 picked off. We've also had 18 stolen bases against us. And that was the issue with Coons on Saturday, right? I think prior to Friday's game, he had 2 or 3 stolen bases on him. And now he's like way leading the rest of the pitchers with 7. Behind that is Blanco with 3. So we definitely, Coons is a little bit slower to the plate than the rest. So wouldn't mind seeing them, work with him on that. If we want to talk about blunders on Friday, we had 11 runners stranded.
Yeah, that one sticks in my craw probably more than anything is left on base. I just have trouble eating that one. So
and 6 of those 11 were in scoring position. So, that's a major issue. But by Sunday was the best game in terms of this year, the best game in terms of stranding runners. We only had 2 runners stranded the entire game, and only 1 was in scoring position. So seeing some improvement there. I think there's been a shift mentally from swing for the fences every single AB to let's be a little bit more situational. Let's understand what our role needs to be here. I didn't have time to do it yet, but for next week, I'm going to go through and I'm going to see how many runs we've scored with 2 outs, because we are definitely a 2-out rally team as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of been a little bit of the thumbprint of this team for a while now. Is we get those 2-out rallies and capitalize when kind of pressed up against it. So it's good to see that. And then from a pitching standpoint, we already talked about where Coon struggled a little bit and what Appenzeller and Blanco were able to do over the course of the weekend. This team, the ERA has gone up, which we expected once we hit SEC play, right? We weren't going to continue to, not let people score on us. But they're still top 30 in team ERA, and strikeout per 9 innings, they're top 12. They're actually tied with Miami of Florida and just a tick behind Mississippi State and Georgia. LSU still the top team in that category. But we've still got, even with some struggles that Coons had on Friday, we've still got some guys that can absolutely miss bats. So I think as long as that continues and we can kind of have some success like we had on Sunday in getting those guys home and not leaving them on base, it's going to go a long way come postseason time. Do you think, as of right now, based on what we've seen through non-con play, stumbled our way kind of through that Georgia series where we basically gave them a game on Saturday to where we played yesterday, where do you think this team's trending? Are we trending in the right direction? Do you feel like some of the things that we've talked about is probably potential hazards for us down the road? Do you think we've addressed some of that? Just overall, how do you feel about this team right now? What do you think how do you think they can close the season out? Still a lot of baseball left to play, but
yeah. I mean, I am feeling better. The hit by pitches have definitely slowed down. In that, we're not seeing 5-6 a game, which is good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I also think what I really felt on Sunday, let me pull it up. Blanco had 15 fly balls on Sunday, which is it's more his, one outing is more fly balls than any other game this season with all pitchers combined. So I think there's also a trust developing where the pitchers don't feel like they have to do it themselves and they can, get the ball in there and let the defense help them out. So I definitely think we're trending in the right direction. We're starting to see, there's two things that we're really starting to see. The guys who are the energy ones. I did see somebody, I can't remember who mentioned it. I think it was on Friday that Brown was in the dugout trying to get guys up and going. And I think, and the dugout was kind of flat. So, when we really get down by a significant number of scores, I think there might be a little bit of work to do there in terms of how do we get the energy and the belief back. But I think for the most part, we're definitely trending in the right direction. I think we're going to see Clark catch on more Sundays. Him and Blanco seem to have a really good rhythm and a really good chemistry. And it gives Lawless a day off. Grinlinger as a DH on Saturday was doing real well. His numbers are really good. He's got 9 hits in the games that he's appeared in. So I think they're just starting to find the rhythm and the trust in each other. Because that, I feel like, especially with the bats, that was another issue that we had, especially after the Kent State series, was nobody trusted anybody else to do their job with the bat. And so everybody was going out there trying to be the one to hit the home run to try and spark things. Whereas now it's I just got to get on base.
Yeah, very true. Because, that was one of the, I guess, kind of knocks I had. Not that you could have very many with a Tony Vitello team, but it was feast or famine. We kind of like the Yankees. We were either hitting 6-7 home runs a game, or we couldn't manufacture runs at all. We couldn't score.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like teams because we're in the middle of a basketball tournament or something. I don't know. It's like, let's take Alabama, for example, since we're talking about losers here. They live and die by the 3-point shot. If they're on, then they can beat anybody. If they're off, they are probably going to get trounced. That was kind of us. If we weren't hitting home runs, then we weren't scoring. So I love the fact that even though, sure, I love to see the home run numbers go up. They're off quite a bit from previous year, but we're still manufacturing runs, and I'll harp on it until the end of the season. That's got to be a part of of the attack. You just can't rely on the home run ball. Although I will say, I was happy to see the fur coat make an appearance against Missouri.
Yes. And you know what? Maybe that was the missing piece, was that they hadn't had the fur coat out in a while. So
people are talking. There were whispers. So, and I think that's the other thing too, is it's been a vast shift in dynamics when you look at Tony's personality versus Josh's personality and how that kind of spilled over into the team in positive and negative ways. I mean, it was very positive that, Tony kept everybody fired up and guys would run through a brick wall for him, but that also kind of, his fieriness had his drawbacks at times. Whereas I think Josh is just more even keeled, and I feel like that team's taking on that personality. So maybe we do need a little fire in the dugout, and we need the pimp coat and some bat flips, and sprinkle a little Andrew Fisher in there.
Yeah, and I don't think that energy has to come from Tony. I think, like, from a high performance perspective, it's also about knowing which guys you can amp up to the level of running through a wall, like a Doyle. You absolutely could, right? But Krenzel is not going to be good in those situations, right?
He's not that guy. Yeah.
No. So I think E brings a little bit more of that even keeledness, like you said, which lets the guys amp themselves up to the level that is their peak, right?
Yeah.
It was good to see him get a little bit of confidence back on Sunday too. You could tell that when he first came in the 8th, he was a little wobbly, but picked himself back up on the 9th. So I'm glad that he came back out.
Yeah. And the one thing that I think too, I certainly will keep reminding people of is, in case you hadn't noticed, this is Josh Elander's first season. We have a very young team.
The youngest in the SEC. Like that.
The youngest in the SEC. Thank you for pointing that out. And, some of these guys, this is their first time on the big stage. And, it sucked that we dropped an opener, a home SEC opener. It sucks even worse that it was to Mizzou. But I think they rallied well on Saturday, and then Sunday we just flat whooped them. So those are, win the series. That's what I've always said. You're not going to win every game in baseball. It's only been done once, and we won't mention them. You're just going to not win every game. So win the series, protect home field, just get yourself in a position to be there. At the end, all we need is a chip and a chair. As they say in the poker world, anything can happen. So I feel good where we are right now. A lot of the things that we were concerned about, the hit batters, especially leaving runners on base, especially in scoring position, that got a little better, but one game doesn't make a trend. So we're going to keep watching that.
We'll be watching.
And I believe that Coons just had an off day, and that happens to everybody. Greg Maddux and everybody had off days. So just flush that, put it behind him, because we're absolutely going to need him come this weekend. But before we get to this weekend, we got a date with South Carolina Upstate. I knew I'd mess that up.
Yes.
I'm more familiar with them in basketball than baseball. So we got 6:00 Eastern, first pitch tomorrow.
So
do we have a starter name for that?
I mean, my guess is Tracy is going to take the mound first again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything here, but
I don't see anything.
I don't see why not, right?
Yeah. It's not broke, don't fix it. I wouldn't mind Brown getting another inning or so. Just, his last outing wasn't so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he's one of those that let somebody else go out there, pitch one inning, and then him come in and pitch a couple innings? You think he would be better coming into that situation, or is this just he's just young and he's just going to have to work through some things?
I mean, I think it was the next day after that game that it was announced that he was being sued by Rice's NIL, right? So I don't know if the stress of that played any role. I mean, I'm guessing it would. I've been sued before, and I wasn't 19 when I got sued.
I was going to say, and if I was a 20-year-old kid getting sued, I would probably react to it very differently than I would today. So
yeah, exactly. So I don't. I think that probably played a role, but yeah, maybe he's not a starter. I mean, in the games that he did start, he did well, but he also only pitched 1 inning. So maybe he is a guy who's more, a mid relief, but I wouldn't mind just getting that confidence and those reps in now, just in case we need him in the postseason.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was going with it is, not that you really want to experiment a whole lot the back half of the season. You kind of do that in the non-con, and this is non-conference game, middle of the week. We all know that, those are basically approached more or less as scrimmages. But we need to know who is going to play what role when we get to that point of SEC tournament play, and of course when we host a regional.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wonder though if it may be something like that. I guess to your point, we can't really pin too much on him for that. Coming off that situation, I know I'd have been a wreck, scared to death at 20 years old, getting sued by somebody, especially for that significant amount of money. But it'll be interesting to see. Because we struggled so bad last year with that third starter, and it really. It really kind of hurt us in the tournament. So I would like to see some of that stuff shored up, and that's where I think I'm going to say it again: apple cider, Appenzeller. I think is going to be a key part to that. But I feel like we've got 3 legit starters that could go out there and deal against anybody. And we just didn't have that last year. So that's another reason I'm very optimistic about what's to come. But
I mean, I think last year the big stress was our pitchers, right? You had Doyle, who you knew was going to be lights out on Friday, but then it's like Sunday, the hitters also knew that Phillips was likely going to have a number of stolen bases against him, and that, that would spiral. And so then they tried to overcompensate, and then Coons kind of struggled on the Sundays. But, I think our Friday, Saturday, Sunday starters are real good right now. And then, having Arvidsson, Appenzeller, Krenzel, who can come in. Frederick has been dealing. I'm loving that Rudy is getting more innings as well.
Yes.
I think he's going to be pretty key. We didn't really see much of Abraham this past week. But and Hindi, get him going as well. And then we've got a bunch of young guys in Deering, Beoto, Haas, Day, Bishop. So getting them those midweek innings, I think will be really good, setting us up really well for next year as well.
Yeah. And looking at the remainder of our non-conference midweek games, there's really not a big threat in there to where I don't feel like we couldn't throw a lot of, just complete bullpen guys and get some of those young guys, even if it's just an inning or two, or even a situational where, get them, you got a guy on base, you got 1 out, go out there and get a couple outs. You know what I mean? Like, just put them in situations where they kind of get that experience, and you give up a run, you give up a run. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I love where we are. Where our pitching staff is right now. One thing I did want to ask back up just a minute for statistics. Where do we stand on errors this year compared to last year? I'm just curious because we had a lot of fielding issues, it seemed, last year.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of got bit by that. It actually cost us a game or two. So I'm just curious, where do we stand on errors, team errors last year versus this year?
I haven't been tracking errors. So this
year. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. This year looks like we've got 13 errors. Let me see if I can find the last.
I feel like it was more last year.
Yeah, last year our fielding percentage was we were like one of the bottom in the country in fielding.
Yeah, we were
last year.
horrible in the SEC in fielding. I've got a bunch of nerd screens up here. I'm trying to find it myself. Here we go. Fielding percentage. Okay, so 983 team fielding percentage. That's 18th. Georgia is number 1. Texas is number 9, and then us. So we're third best in the SEC in fielding percentage this year. So not as impactful. The moment they came sometimes can be impactful.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel like it's much better. It's much improved over last year, which again is good to see, because those are, again, for me, price of entry things. See ball, catch ball, throw ball.
Yeah.
It's basic stuff. I mean, that's why they're called errors. They're mistakes, and they happen. But good to see us limiting that.
Yeah, in the whole season of last year, we had 69 errors.
That is ridiculous.
And right now we're at 13.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more than one a game.
Yeah.
So we can't, yeah, much improved over last year. So that is also good to see. So
really had 17 errors last year. I know nobody's surprised by that, but that's
number. Yeah. I mean, it seemed like we just 2-3 a game, and I know it wasn't that bad, but that's how it felt.
I mean,
and they would come at the most inopportune times.
Yeah. This year we have Ford with 3 and Marin with 3, Abernathy with 2, Lawless with 2, Antigua and Myatt and Arvidsson each with 1. So, yeah, low numbers compared to what we were seeing last year. Like Curley had 17.
Lord bless Dean's heart.
Antigua had 8. Fargo had 7. Keelan had 5. So did Fisher. Lawless 4. Peebles 4. So we had a lot of errors last year.
Yeah, and I really like the middle infield too. Antigua got a lot of grief last year because I guess everybody thinks he should hit 350 and 10 home runs and never commit an error. But the kid's a vacuum out there. In the outfield. And Marin, I was surprised Marin actually had as many as he did. But, yeah, I love our middle infield. Some, just solid dudes, athletic and good baseball IQ. Unless they just get caught out of position, they're going to make plays. So I don't get the hate for Antigua especially.
He's got a good glove. You just have to know, like, you're going to get what you're going to get with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've talked about it. Maybe he's not the starter. Maybe he's the not that you have a closing fielder, but you get a 2 or 3 run lead. You bring him in and let him play. He can play second, play short. Just let the guy just go out there and vacuum up ground balls, and it is what it is. So can't hate on that kid for that, man. He's too good.
I mean, he's had 7 RBIs, 7 hits, walked 5 times. Been hit twice. The challenge with Antigua is, and this is what I've been saying since the beginning, is it's his situational hitting that needs to improve. Like, he has been the third out to strand runners 14 times.
Does that lead the team?
It does, actually, and he's not played as many games as everybody else, right? Like, behind him is Marin and Ford, but Ford's only not played in 1 game. Marin's only had, I think, 2 games where he didn't play with the injury, And then Brown has played every single game, and Abernathy played almost every single game up until this past weekend, right? And then Lawless 10. So he's leading guys who have pretty consistently played every single game. And he's played a lot less innings. So I think that is the one area that I would love to see Antigua improve is the 2-out runners on hitting.
Yeah, and he's going to have to, frankly. No real choice. We've got to be able to trust him in those situations. And it's been kind of surprising too, to be honest, because he had such a good offseason that I kind of was expecting. I guess I was expecting a little bit more in that regard. I do understand a little bit of the hate then, I guess, because that's pretty extraordinary considering how many at bats he's had. So. I mean, at this point, all we can do is hope. We can't get out there and I can't get out there and coach him, and you can't get out there and counsel him.
Yeah.
So
he's had 32 at-bats he's had, and 13 of those he has been the third out to strand runners.
My goodness.
So
it's a third of them.
Or 14. He's been the third out, so.
Lord, help us. It's almost it's not quite half, but it's getting close.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely an area that's got to, because we can't go into tournament play with those kind of numbers.
No.
So okay, well, we'll shift our focus a little bit to what's to come, and already mentioned USC Upstate. They overall 12-13. They're 3-3 in conference play, which their conference is the Big South. I'm looking right now. They really haven't played. They did play South Carolina and Texas. That's been about it. Texas absolutely throttled them, although they did compete in the Saturday game. They lost 11-9. And, of course, big brother there, South Carolina beat them pretty handily, 12-3. Just not a lot. They did play Georgia as well early in the season, so I take that back. So they played Georgia, South Carolina, and Texas. Everything else has been some cupcakes as far as our world is concerned. So really don't expect a lot of resistance from this team. It should be, I won't say scrimmage level, but we should be able to get a comfortable lead and maybe get some of these young guys some time on the mound or some at-bats. So no need to dive into that too much. But then on Friday, we get to go to that dump in the west end of Nashville and take on the Fighting Tim Corbins and Peabody, who, in case I didn't mention it before, just came off of getting swept by Mississippi State.
They're on a 5-game losing streak.
And a 5-game losing streak.
So,
and that dang Whistler is going to be the most annoying thing in the universe for 3 days of my life. Nothing would make me happier than to shut that guy up with 3 big fat L's this weekend. Anything happens in this series, we've seen all kinds of nonsense and heroics and stupidity. Any thoughts on what we should expect from either team? I mean, I know Vandy's, they're slumping bad right now, and it's across the board. It's not that they can't hit or they can't pitch. They can't seem to get anything going.
Yeah, so their current overall record, 13-12, is the same as South Carolina.
Cool.
2-4 in conference play, but at home they're 12-4. So they do have that going for them, but they don't seem to really have a solid Sunday starter. The 2 conference weekends so far whoever started for them, it doesn't look like fully made it out of the first inning before they had to bring in someone. If I remember correctly, let me pull it up. But the guy who has been going on Friday nights for them, Fennel, he's got a 5.74 ERA, 31.1 innings pitched, 31 hits, 21 runs, 20 earned runs, 7 home runs. Remember, they did move in one of their, I think it was their right field fence. And then they have and he has 43 strikeouts. Nadeau on Saturday has a 3.27 ERA, 22 innings pitched, 17 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned runs, 1 home run, 29 strikeouts. So comparatively, we've got Coons with a 4.35 ERA for Saturday or for Friday, Mac with a 3.38 for Saturday, and then Blanco with a 2.73 ERA on Sunday. So,
yeah, collectively, their pitchers are giving up a little over 7 hits per game, and we're above them in strikeouts per 9 and hits allowed per game. So I feel like we have a pretty distinct pitching advantage in this matchup. I'm trying to scoot over to Team ERA now to see where they are, and the fact that they're not in the top 50 makes me happy. So they're 52nd. They have a 302 batting average collectively as a team, which is still pretty strong. I mean, anything over 300 is can't really sneeze at that.
Yeah.
And it is in their place. It's on that abomination at Hawkins Field. And actually have a better team batting average than we do.
They do have a better team batting average. So
we're definitely going to have to we're going to have to be on. We're going to have to make smart. Gosh, we're at 279, really? I thought it was higher than that. Dang.
I'm at 278 is what I'm seeing. Not that that's.
I may have rounded up. I like mine better. We'll go with mine. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to. We're going to have. Our guys are going to have their stuff. We're going to have solid games. Out of Coons has got to bounce back. We got to start this thing off right, and we've got to make good decisions with who we bring in at what time. Make sure our pitching hitter matchups are optimal. I haven't really seen that as being an issue. I know we've had a couple situations where we brought guys in and they've gotten lit up, but it's not been terrible. I can think of a couple games where that's happened. Somebody's come in and faced one batter and given up 3 runs, and then I think another time we left a guy in a little too long. So if we can leverage our starters and get 5-6 good innings out of them, hand the ball over to Appenzeller and the boys, I feel like we can get out of there at least 2 out of 3. And quite frankly, the way Vanderbilt's played, I don't see why we can't sweep them. I hate Peabody. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on this show.
You know what? I've never heard you say it.
Okay. Probably don't see it on Twitter much either. But makes me very happy when Peabody loses in anything. If there was a checkers tournament and it was Peabody against Tehran University, I would have trouble deciding who to pull for.
So last Sunday against Mississippi State, their starter did not make it through the first inning. I don't even know. He didn't even get an out.
That's beautiful.
Has
that been their typical Sunday starter?
So it was Baird who started against Mississippi State, but I'm pretty sure they had somebody else start against LSU. LSU, they had Taylor start.
Yeah, I haven't kept up that closely with them because I've been too busy laughing at them. But do they have a consistent Sunday starter?
maybe before. I didn't look. I didn't have time to look before conference play started.
I usually don't pay attention too closely to rosters, other than you've got your big names, of course, that are out there, but I don't usually pay that much attention to rotations because during the non-con, I mean, everybody's still trying to probably figure that out.
Yeah.
The fact they lost to Indiana, though, it makes my heart happy.
Let's see. Against LSU, their Sunday starter.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm trailing you on that, trying to figure that out.
Looks like their Sunday starter
it looks like Taylor again, but he gave up 6 runs.
So Taylor started on Sunday and went one. Couldn't get an out in the second inning. They were down 5-0 when they replaced him. So they've had Taylor and Baird start on Sundays in conference play and
have both been god awful.
Yeah, have not made it past this first or second inning. So
I really like our chances now of a sweep, because I'm sure we'll pitch Blanco on Sunday.
Yeah.
Coons is embedded as our Friday starter.
Yeah, and Mac's been throwing well too.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to call it now. We're going to sweep Peabody this weekend.
Let's do it. Sounds like a plan.
Might as well. I mean, there's only 3 things to do in Nashville: show up, beat Vandy's tail, and leave.
Sounds good to me. And I mean, we've got like Blanco's at 44 strikeouts on the year, Coons with 40, Mac with 39. So
yeah, we just can't be the get right series for Peabody. We just can't. Just like we couldn't lose to Miami, Ohio in the basketball tournament, we can't let Peabody get their season back on track at our expense.
No.
That is absolutely cannot happen. So put it out there now, speaking it into existence. Going to sweep these jokers in their own building. And then we get a nice little homestand run of Austin Peay. Then we get LSU, who also is reeling pretty hard. This looked like Murderer's Row, Tiffany, at the beginning of the season.
I know.
Start out with Georgia, get a little bit of a break with Mizzou, and then just roll right into, Peabody, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Bama, Kentucky, in Texas. It's going to be tough.
The one that I'm most
of Oklahoma. So,
yeah, the one I'm most concerned about now is Mississippi State at Mississippi State. That's going to be a challenging team. And then Kentucky is good, so we can't take them lightly.
Can't take them lightly. That is 100% truth. The one thing, though, we do have advantage for us in the series with Kentucky is they will be somewhat distracted with all the toys in the dugout. So it is in Lexington, so you can count on the toy chest being fully involved for that series.
Yeah.
The Mississippi State one at Starkville. I mean, Mississippi State's so good at home, even their stadium has its own Twitter page and talks smack to me on there all the time.
Yeah.
So, that one probably – and even though Texas is at home, I mean, let's face it, Texas is a machine. Challenge. Yeah, they're an absolute machine right now. So those two are probably the most concerning. I think we can win the rest of the series on our schedule. It's just those two are going to be tough. And Kentucky probably right now is a coin flip based on what the Cats have been able to do. Although they did drop 2 of 3 to Ole Miss, I still think playing there is is going to be tough. And then the Oklahoma game is at Oklahoma. I can't put a lot of stock in what they've done just because they went and beat LSU 2 out of 3. I'm not saying a lot right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, still a lot of baseball to play. So we can't, good or bad. I mean, people get all excited or they get all doom and gloom, and we got to try to kind of keep it in the middle right now because there's still a lot of baseball left to play. And again, first year coach, very young team, got to have some patience. Let these guys get into their flow, and I think we're going to be fine.
So I was just looking at our whip. So our team whip we're 13th in the country in team whip, and Vanderbilt is 58th in the country.
Nice.
So they have a 1.37, and Tennessee has a 1.15. So
yeah, that's anything over. I mean, anything over a 1 really kind of raise an eyebrow, but 1.37 is pretty significant. Shout out to Juiced. Did I make anybody mad on this app today? Does the day end in Y, brother?
I went on an epic trolling spree last night after Florida lost, so the answer is also yes in my case.
Yeah. Juice out here, I mean, he's making everybody mad, though. Friendlies, enemies, frenemies. Juice doesn't care. Juice is not pulling punches with anybody. He's just out there spitting facts, and that's why I love you too, bro. You just put it out there, man, and that's the people I respect that just tell truth, good, bad, ugly. And somebody don't like it, then you know what? That's their problem. The truth's the truth. So, yeah, we'll continue to troll the Peabodys and the Floridas and the LSUs and really anybody. We don't discriminate around here. We will gladly put you on blast no matter what. But it's just more fun when it's those guys, right? I mean, how great was this weekend for us as Tennessee fans seeing what happened with Florida? Get swept by Bama, which anybody but Bama would have made it even better, but so be it. It is what it is. And then they turn around and get put out by a 9 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. And Kentucky's done, and Vandy had declared that they were the best athletics department in the SEC, only to get bounced in the first round. So,
yeah, let me just recap your best athletic department season for you here, homie. You had the best season you've ever had in the history of your school in football, and it won you exactly nothing. Your best shot ever at a Heisman, and you fell short there too. Then your basketball team, congrats, you beat us, woohoo, whoopee. And then you turn around and just get absolutely smacked by another corn team, just like Florida. And then your baseball team's on a 5-game skid, and we're getting ready to make it 8. I don't know who you play in the midweek. Couldn't care less. It doesn't count. So congrats. Greatest athletic department in the country. Been a long time since you've hung a banner. It's going to be a very long time before you hang the next one, unless you want to be like some of the folks over in one of our rival basketball programs that likes to hang preseason win banners. Then go for it. But it's not a good time to be a Peabody fan of anything right now. And man, what I started to post this, and I probably will before it's over with Florida. It's like, well, at least you've got bait. Oh no, wait. Well, at least you've got foot. Oh no, not sure about that. I don't know what they got left. Is their girls softball team any good? I don't keep up with anything.
Their girls softball did beat the Lady Vols on the weekend. So
yeah, I know. I saw that. Well, blind cats find mice on occasion.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just fantastic right now. We're winning, moving on our 4th straight Sweet 16. And then everybody else that's supposed to be good at basketball is going to be watching from home. So it's just fantastic. It's I always say it's the most wonderful time of the year. That's until football season starts, and then that'll be until basketball season starts again, then until baseball season starts. But anyway, I digress.
Well,
it's fantastic right now. Loving life.
Vandy has Tennessee Tech tomorrow, so they might be able to break their 5-game losing streak before we come to town and start a new one.
I don't know. Those boys get fired up to play the big boys in state. I hope they go up there and just – I hope they beat them in like a late top of the ninth, 2 runs down and hit a 3-run shot and shut them out. I would love to see them win in a heartbreaker. That would just – gosh, I will be incorrigible. I will be unbearable on this app if that happens. But yeah, I would love to. I'd love to see them just keep the L's coming. Just bam, bam, bam. So, all right, fantastic. Well, is there anything else? Spreadsheet, stats, trolls, anything at all that we need to address before we wrap up?
Not that I can think of.
Same here. I have exhausted my notes, and if I put any more tabs and screens open here, I think my computer is going to shut down on me. So with that said, Tiffany, where, again, can we find you on the socials?
So it's Vol 21 23 20. It's what's in my handle there. Yeah, spreadsheets pinned to the top of my profile so you can see it.
Yeah. If you're not following, or I know a lot of you probably did follow, and then, of course, Tiffany got sniped by the scammers, so she had to start over again. So if you're not following her new account, please go follow that account. If you like baseball at all, or a numbers stats nerd like me, then absolutely must follow her. It's fantastic content, and you don't have to sort through 37 tabs like I do to get numbers. You just look at her spreadsheet, tell you everything you need to know. So,
I mean, there are a lot of tabs on this spreadsheet. There's more tabs added every week, but I try and keep it as easy to read as possible.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's much easier to read her spreadsheet, I assure you, than trying to do or find anything on anybody's website, the universities included. Just let Tiffany be your one-stop shop for all things BaseVols. So, well, once again, awesome job. I love our Monday time, and I love keeping up with all the stats and the numbers. Thank you so much for what you do and what you bring to Vol Twitter, especially the baseball world. And keep firing those trolls off. You were on a roll this weekend. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you watched us live, thank you so much. You go back and check us out later on. You can find it on the Heavy Pour Sports YouTube page, my page, Dropping the Hammer, or just pull us up on X. We are always streaming here. Thank you again, Tiffany. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Love you. And we'll see you next time.